I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. Welcome back to another exciting edition of RxMuscle Spotlight. It is my pleasure to have a man that's been competing and as long in bodybuilding as maybe anyone else out there, and he still looks amazing. He's the same age as me, 55. He certainly looks a lot better than me. He is what I call the other big Lenny. Let me welcome Lenny St. Or did I pronounce your name right, Lenny?
That's correct. Lenny St. That's my name.
Yeah. I love, I love it because it's spelled STCYR, two separate words, but it reads sincere because you're a sincere guy.
It's actually pronounced in French, sincere, but we're not in France. We're in the UK here, so it's sincere, and in the States, it's the same, sincere.
Gotcha. Okay.
Good.
I like
it's actually on my logo, Sincere Physiques. Bam. That's what it's all about.
It's like I always told PJ Braun years ago. I told him when I started working with him, I said, "You got a great name for bodybuilding. Your last name is Braun, for God's sakes. I mean, come on, So if you have that last name, that kind of works with what you do, you got to use it as your marketing tool. Yeah,
that's true.
Lenny, you've been competing since what year? What was the first year you started?
Well, I first started training in 1984. I competed the following year in 85. So that's 1985.
Wow. That's even before you graduated high school. Because I know I graduated in 86, which must have been the same year you did.
Yeah, actually, I left school actually when I was 16. So
did you really? Wow.
I did.
I didn't know kids left school back when we were in the 80s back there. You were allowed to leave school?
Well, yeah, we had the choice. I actually did a plumbing apprenticeship. So I was working in construction at that time.
Wow! Wow! That young an age, holy mackerel!
Yeah, it was cool. It was a nice time.
How did you decide? I mean, did you not like school, or did you just say, "Hey, you know what? I'm sick of this. I got to start making money"? That
was it. And I should have stayed on, but I didn't because I wanted to venture out in the big world.
Right.
And I always remember my first 2 weeks at work. I went home, I saw my mom, and I said to her, I've got a pay packet of 2 weeks money, 2 weeks wages. My mom took my £80 off me and gave me 40 back. And she said to me, "Welcome to the world." And I thought, wow, okay, fair enough. I've got to pay my rent. That's it.
Hey, now, from all the construction you were doing, is that how you got such big biceps, or were you born with those things?
These things.
Those guns, yeah. I look back at your pictures to go all the way back just to make sure that they weren't jimmied up or anything. You had those arms at birth, man. It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, I mean, I get a lot of questions asked regarding my biceps. I mean, my triceps. I wish people would ask me questions about my triceps, but that's just genetics. My triceps are weak compared to my biceps, and that's a genetic thing. I've had biceps even before I started training. Right. But when I first started training, it was fantastic. My biceps grew, and my body just grew anyway. So it was really good.
Right. Did people freak out in the gym when they saw your arms when you were, first starting out?
Well, when I was really young, I didn't really notice until I first stepped on stage when I was 16 years old, and I dieted actually quite well for it, and I was surprised I won. But people were talking backstage about, "Oh, this guy Lenny, and look at his biceps." And I thought really nothing of it until I saw one picture eventually when the pictures came out in the bodybuilding magazine. So you had to wait another two or 3 months for the magazine to come out. And then I saw a picture of me doing a double bicep, and I thought, wow, I've got decent arms. I mean, I had a good physique. I had a balanced physique, otherwise I would not have won. And I was 16 years old. So even back then, I knew what I wanted to do, and I had the buzz. I had the buzz for it. It was really good, loved it.
Who introduced you to bodybuilding?
Oh wow! You know what? I was watching TV, and Mr. Universe came on, and I remember I saw Jeff King, and I thought, shit, never miss Mr. Universe. I thought this guy looks incredible. I thought, wow, I want to be like him. I want to be like that man. And I used to watch The Incredible Hulk with Lou, and I thought, wow, these guys look amazing. What do they do? What do they eat? How do they look like that? Right. I want to be just like that. I want to be a bodybuilder. I want to be a big guy. I want to look good. Although I was fairly athletic anyway when I was younger, but that gave me the buzz. That gave me the drive and determination to do good. And when I won my first show, that was it. Bam! I was hooked.
Yeah, that's a good way to get hooked on bodybuilding, winning your first show. Yeah, you know, when I watched The Incredible Hulk 2 as a kid, I was so enamored with Lou Ferrigno and the way he looked, and that was actually a real human being. Because it took my parents several weeks to convince me that was not like some kind of a suit or something like that he was wearing. That was actually his body. And then they showed me pumping iron, and I was like, I think it was on like PBS or something like that. I was blown away by that, and it's ironic that Lou Ferrigno and I are really good friends nowadays. And I never, to think I idolized the guy growing up, and now I'm friends with him. I can pick up the phone and call him anytime I want. It's an incredible feeling. So.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Now, give us your journey. So at 16, you did your first show, you won. Give us the kind of the stepping stones after that. Where did you go from that point on?
Wow. Okay. So I was doing pretty good at junior level shows. I won the London show, London Titan, the capital city. Then I did my first national show. I came fourth in the NABA Britain. I came fifth, I think, in the NABA World Championships. That was in 1987. Yeah. Wow. I won a few more shows, and the year after, I was still in the juniors, and I came up against Ian Harrison in the NABA Britain.
Yeah, he was big. He was a big boy.
He was good. So I was disappointed because I lost that show to Ian.
Right.
So I trained like an animal for the NABA Britain. That was the NABA Britain. I trained like an animal for the NABA Universe in 1988. And I probably put about another 5 kilos of muscle on. I trained so hard. I came up against Ian and I lost again. Oh my God.
The same show. What was the biggest you ever competed? How heavy were you on stage at your biggest?
And my biggest, I think I was probably about 97 kilos, 98 kilos. I wasn't really.
And how tall are you?
I'm 180. I was 180. I'm 55 now. I'm probably about 177.5 now. I've lost a couple of.
What does that equal in like inches or feet and inches?
Yeah, I was about 5'11". I was about 9 now. It's amazing that the older you get, you seem to lose a couple of centimeters in your height.
Yeah. I unfortunately don't want to admit that, but I've lost an inch or so myself. Yeah.
well, saying that, that was actually at my detriment, because my last show I did a classic show at 50. Right. I thought I was 5'11", but I was 5'9", and wow. You had to lose another 5 kilos, but
I was 5'10.5" at one point, and now I think I'm 5'9" also. I can relate to what you're talking about.
In my mind, I'm 6 foot.
That's funny. So give us, after Ian Harrison, what happened after that?
Okay, so I took a year off. I wanted to get bigger. No, actually, did I take a year off? I took 2 or 3 more years off because I competed again in 1993 as an open competitor. Okay. So I had to qualify for the UK BFF or EFF.
You had to be pretty young at that point, I would say, right?
Sorry?
Pardon? You had to be pretty young still, at the early 20s, I would think, right?
Yeah, I was in my early 20s. I did the UK BFF British Championships. I qualified by winning the southeast of England. Mm-hmm. I came second again in 93. I came second in 94, and I came second in 95. But coincidentally, after these British Championships, I competed in Europe. the IFBB Flanders Cup in Belgium. Actually, and the winner every year gets a pro card. I won 3 consecutive years, but I was never allowed to take the pro card by the federation in the UK, unfortunately. So
why that was when they were like they were like militant about that. You had to win it in the UK, right?
Very militant, and it was a bit of a knockback, really, because I had to compete in Britain. I was runner-up in Britain. I'll go to Europe, and I'd always win.
It was very hard to get a pro card when you were in the UK back in that time period. People don't remember. They gave one pro card a year?
1 pro card a year for the overall. Remember, you've got to win the overall. So I think that was the best years, to be honest. You had to work hard. You had to work hard to get that pro card.
You could probably name all the guys that came out of there, because there was so few of them, and they were all really good. I mean, from Dorian and Ian and who else?
Phenomenal. Ernie,
Ernie Taylor, right?
I lost to Ernie in 94. Yeah. Oh no, sorry, that was 95. I lost to Ian in 90. In Wadley 90. I can't remember. I don't remember, some years ago. 94. Yeah. So it's been you had to graft. It's the graft, man. You had to graft even to get on that stage in the qualifier. You have to look at a certain level. You got to look good, and you had to have dieted proper.
Right.
I mean,
people have said that
different, but that's me.
People have said to me, Dave, do you feel, if you were competing nowadays in today's day, they give pro cards to the second place finisher at the NPC Nationals in every weight class.
Wow.
And I came in second, several times, and so theoretically I would have had a pro card today. And they're like, "Oh, are you mad?" I'm like, "No, because you know what? I competed back in the day when the guys were fantastic. It was an honor to be up there on the stage with them. And so no, I didn't want to just be given a pro card. I wanted to really like earn it. So I don't like feel like I was cheated or anything like that. So do you feel the same way?
Well, to be honest, I competed again in 96 at the European Championships. And I was told by the president of the UK, if I came in the top 6, it was a drug tested show, I would get my pro card or apply for it. So I did. I came 4th. I applied for the card, but unfortunately I got injured. I was working in a club, like you do.
Right.
You want to be working. Well, I did anyway. I was working in a club, working in a nightclub. Got in a bit of a problem. Ended up touring my rotator cuff. So I was out. I was out for about a year or 2. I started a family. I moved to Spain. I had a life. Then I wanted to get that pro card back, and I was told I can't. So I had to just live my life, come back, and I came back as a judge. Came back to the UK, and I decided to be a judge instead of competing again.
Interesting. So how many years were you off from competing?
From 96 to 2018. So
wow. Did you miss it?
I missed it terribly. But I was always in super shape. I lived in Malaga in Spain for 8 years. So the climate over there is good all year round. So you can wear a t-shirt from you're wearing hardly anything from perhaps you are. I mean, you're wearing a t-shirt, you're wearing shorts from perhaps April to November, and then so your body is always on show. So I was always having a clean diet. I was always looking at myself, having plenty of rest, and I enjoyed my life. But I always had that desire to come back and compete. So I thought, am I going to do it? Yeah, I was in shape, and about 10 years ago, no, sorry, it was about 12 years ago, I suffered a TIA. I had a mild stroke.
Wow.
When I was living in Spain. So
that how did that come about? Did that run in your family?
No, I think it's because I was under a lot of stress at the time. I was working in clubs, I was doing some PT. My lifestyle was a bit crazy then, to be honest. And I suffered a stroke. I was 130 kilos, I think.
Oh wow. That's big.
And I went down to initially about 115, but now I'm 95 kilos. So, yeah.
So you think you were too heavy?
I was too heavy. I was doing silly stuff. I was doing.
No, you're messing with the funny drugs.
No. I've never been somebody to take recreational drugs.
Okay.
No, but I think it's because of the lifestyle I was living. I was under immense pressure and stress. So it happened. I changed my lifestyle, to be honest.
Hold on. What? Tell us the symptoms. When you first noticed something wasn't right? What were you experiencing?
Well, I'm just going to tell you. My partner, she gave me I had the jab, okay, and I thought I just hit a nerve. I was feeling a bit weak on my left hand side, so it happened for days, 3 or 4 days on. I was getting these feelings on my left hand side of my body where it was just a bit weaker than the right. I remember when I was doing dumbbell lunges, and I was using 45 kilo dumbbells, and I was up and down. I was going crazy. I felt fantastic. And all of a sudden, I was like this. My body just dropped, my left hand side of my body, and I had to use the wall of the gym to guide me outside to my car. I drove home. I said to my partner what happened, and she took me down to A&E. So I went down to A&E in Malaga. They did a few tests on me, and they asked me, do I take anabolica? So I said yes. And first they said to me, are you a drinker? Am I a smoker? I said, no, I'm not a drinker. But I had problems with my liver and my kidneys, and I was dehydrated, and I had a little bit of a shadow on my brain. But yeah, that's it. I had a little TIA, just a warning sign, but I'm good to go now. I'm good.
Now, what did they tell you, or did you ever explore what could have caused that? Aside from stress and everything, obviously there was some sort of a clot that dislodged itself, right?
Yes, I honestly think it's because of stress. I think it's stress. I don't think it was anabolics.
Okay. I don't think so either.
That could have been a factor, but it could have been a number of factors.
How's your heart? Is your heart good?
Oh yeah, my heart is good. My heart is good. Yeah, I get regular tests now. I am on Libido, which thins the blood, and I'm probably on that for life. But it gives me that.
What did you say you were on? Which drug?
Clopidogrel.
Is that an anti-clotting agent?
Yeah, it's a blood thinner. It's similar to aspirin, stronger.
Yeah. They want you on that so that you don't throw. Some people just are prone to throwing clots, and it's good that obviously you didn't have any residual, effects of the mini stroke, because some people are permanently, paralyzed or have loss of function. How long did it take before you started feeling normal again?
Well, 3 months, because I came back to the UK. The doctors in Spain told me that they basically said, no more entreno, no más. They said, no más. So I thought, okay, I'll go to see a specialist here in London. And I told the specialist of what happened, and the specialist said to me, get down the gym. So that's what I did. That's awesome. Get the blood flowing. I went down the gym, and I feel good. But, funnily enough, and I competed in 2018. So, yeah, that was my last show in 2018.
So where are you now? How come you're not competing? How come you're not trying to get that pro card?
No, I'm too old now, Dave.
You're not. Now you got masters. Come on, man. Look how great you look.
No. I feel fantastic. I feel good, but I know my limitations. I know what I will perhaps try to do if I try to prepare for a bodybuilding show, and I don't want to do that. I want to stay fit.
Lenny? I talked to a couple of people. I talk about Chris Aceto, and I always break each other's chops, and I always tell Chris. I said the reason, Chris, you won't go to the gym is because you're one of these people that if you go to the gym, you got to do everything related to the gym. You can't just go to the gym and enjoy yourself. I said, because at our age, I said, you don't need to go to the gym and do anabolics and eat 15 meals a day. You could just go and enjoy yourself and train because you like training, and maybe increase your protein a little bit. Why can't you go and compete? You look great right now. Why can't you go and compete the way you are now?
Because I enjoy myself now. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy when people achieve goals. My our online plan is good. I just help anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. I can help you have a good, healthy lifestyle, just like me. I'm 55. I feel great. I
Yeah.
feel great. I'm not under no pressure. I don't have to prove to anybody that I want to step on stage.
Right.
I mean, come on, all that wrinkles when you're 55, Dave. Come on, man.
Well, you know, it's funny because people ask me, Dave, why don't you make a comeback? I said, look, I got health problems. I got shoulder replacements. I got, you know, I just had open heart surgery to fix my aorta. I got a fused ankle. I got problems, but you know, it would be harder for me to say no if I looked like you, and you don't really have any injuries, and you look good. You're still big. You know, you look. Your body looks like it can still handle the training in the gym. I probably would have a harder time not competing if I looked like you. But you know what? You could probably compete almost natural and probably look great. You know?
Yeah, I probably can, but I love training. I've still got, I mean, 40 years is a long time to keep up the. But you know what? When I go in the gym and I see individuals sitting there on their phone, oh God, it drives me bananas. I'm the guy in the gym who says, "How many sets you got left?" Or so I saw the other day on social media, "How many texts do you have left?" And the individual just said, "I've got 2 more." "Oh, you got 2 more texts?" No. "Oh no, 2 more sets." And
I said to some guy today in the gym, it's funny you mentioned that. I said to him, you know, what do you got left? He goes, "I just started. I have about 3 or 4 sets." I said, "Do you mind if I work in?" Because people don't know what that means anymore. That back in the 90s and early 2000s, everyone worked in with each other while the other guy's resting, the other guy goes. Yeah. And he's like, "Yeah, sure." He goes, "Yeah, no one does that anymore in this gym." I said, "I know. They just sit on the bench with their fat ass, with the cell phone in their face, and they sit there for 20 minutes on the machine, and you can't even get in there. Get your ass up. Let me sit down and do my set while you're text messaging, and then you can go." I don't understand why people don't understand gym etiquette anymore.
I don't understand. It amazes me, but it happens all the time. Every day I will see that. Perhaps I'm the silly old fart who's a moaner, but I'm not a moaner. You know, I know some of my clients, if they have their online plans, they're looking on their phone to see how they can update their plans when they're in. That's about 30 minutes. That's about 30 seconds. About 30, 40 seconds maximum. Yeah. Right. It's just like one of my clients did the other week. He was on the phone and he remembered what I said to him. So he sent me a message saying, "Lenny, I was on the phone for a minute and I remembered you. So I got off the phone and I did my set." So I said, well done. Anything over a minute sitting there, you're lazy. So, but that's the way I am. That's the reason.
You know what happens, Lenny? This is what happens. People start looking at their phone and they think they're going to look at it for 15 seconds. And then they become mesmerized by the phone and they become hypnotized and they lose track of time. And I don't think they're purposely staying on the phone for that long, but they lose track of time. They're sitting on the machine, taking it up, and they don't even realize it. See, when I used to train in the 90s and there were no cell phones, you did a set, you got up, and you kind of like, you didn't even know what to do with yourself. So it was almost better if you had someone there working with you so you can kind of spot each other. Nowadays, no one helps each other because they're too busy on the phone. And that's the reality, you know.
So you're bouncing off each other. So you're resting perhaps, I mean, even on squats, I mean, even on legs, okay, 2 minutes-ish. But, you know, even if you're doing anything upper body, if you have a training partner, I'll say you're doing about 40 to a minute, okay? By the time you're spotting your spotting, anyway, that's another story. Right? By the time you're spotting your training partner and he's come off and then you're changing the weights, that's about a minute, right? So that's about maximum intensity. That's what it's all about. Kids these days, I say kids, it's not about intensity. It's all about having time to get your tripod ready, which is fine. This is social media. That's the reason why I'm talking to you. I could go on for hours there, but I won't go on. But that's my rant. I do love to have a rant, but that's the reason why I look the way I do, because I go in the gym and I train hard, or as hard as I can now, which is okay, I guess.
You know, it's funny because I don't really have the time to train people in the gym anymore. Most of the stuff I do with athletes is through diet online because, you know, it's just more convenient. I can do it at my own leisure throughout the day. And I do videos, but there's one guy I've been training in the gym because he begged me, asked me, he was torturing me for months. And I said, you know what, fine. Because I actually do like training people. I just don't want to train a lot of people. Like I said, it's too time consuming, but I've been training this guy and I basically have him do my workouts, you know, high intensity, lower volume. This guy is so sore. He's like, I can't even sleep at night. He goes, I'm so sore. I can't even believe it because it doesn't look like we're doing that much. But the way you're pushing me through the set and we're doing drop sets and, I'm spotting him and making him do a couple forced reps here and there. The intensity level's so high that he now realizes it's not a volume thing. It's an intensity thing. And it's hard to push yourself without having a training partner or someone who's training you to that level where you're going to get that extra growth. Because a lot of people train, they look exactly the same, right? Every year after year after year.
Of course. But I tend to know what body part I'm going to do when I'm training myself. But I don't necessarily know the sequence or don't necessarily know what actual exercises I'm going to do until I get into the gym. Because I need to have that mind muscle connection all the time. But it works for me. I don't really squat anymore. I do loads of leg extensions and leg press.
Yeah, me too.
Within my limits. It's always within my limits because usually the joints go before anything else. And but I try to train as hard as I can all the time. And that's the most important thing about anyone who's listening to this. It's not about what you lift, it's how you lift it. It's about squeezing the muscle, and it's about working the muscle and having that mind muscle connection. That way, when you're older, when you're in your later teens or your late 20s or your 30s, you'll see the benefit of that. I'm not telling you not to go heavy. You can still go heavy, but have control. Don't let the weight control you. You control the weight. Always. That's it.
100%. Throughout the years, you're 55 years old. What was the biggest mistake you made probably with bodybuilding that you can, if you had to go back and correct it, you would tell yourself, don't do that?
Deadlift. No, we won't go into that. We won't go into deadlifts. No, I don't know, to be honest. I've quite enjoyed everything that I've done.
Were you doing something wrong that you figured out along the way? Hey, maybe I was doing this exercise wrong, or I was eating wrong, or was there anything that you figured out along the way that you were screwing up?
No, otherwise I won't be here today after 40 years. So I must do something right.
No, I mean, everyone makes mistakes. I was a chronic overtrainer when I first started. I didn't know because I came from a running background. And with runners, the more you run, the better you are, And so that was my mentality. And I realized
I suppose because of the way my body is structured, I could go heavy, but when I used to go really super heavy with certain exercises, I feel it more in my joints. So I tend to be more of a rep range guy between 8 to 12, and I still between 8 and 10, between 8 to 10, 8 to 12 reps now, but with a lighter weight, focusing on the form. Always about the form, Dave. Always so important. The form all day long.
I got within the last 3 or 4 years, I got a shoulder replacement on each side. I had terrible shoulder joints, and it was such a pleasure to be able to go back to the gym and use proper form, full range of motion on free weight exercises. I hadn't been able to do that for 20 years because I just had bad joint issues and pain and stuff like that. And I had to and I know how to train properly, but I couldn't do it. That when I was set loose in the gym and they said, okay, you can go train again, it was like heaven. I was like in heaven just to feel the muscle work through its range of motion. And like you said, as you get older, you don't have to lift as heavy anymore because you already have the muscle, or you had the muscle. You have to just stimulate the muscle to get back what you lost, type of thing. And it's a miracle, really. It really does work. And, it's all about what the muscle feels. It has nothing to do with how much weight you lift.
I mean, let me ask you a question, Dave. Do you do a lot of stretching when you do your workouts, after your workouts, or before?
I stretch at night when I watch TV. I give myself an hour to watch TV to unwind and get my brain off of the internet. And while I'm doing that, I sit on the floor and I do like yoga stretches. Yes, all the time.
Okay, because I fundamentally believe that stretching is so important the older you get.
I stretch I stretch in the shower, Lenny, because when the water is hot and warm, it warms up the joints, and I feel that I can stretch even better in the shower. I'll do my whole back. I'll lean over. I'll put my hands on the floor, and my lower back opens up completely. It's like the spinal canals open up,
Wow.
Better.
Good, because I was stretching my biceps the other day in the gym. I've got some weight, but the thing is, because I extend my arm and I use my fundamental. to twist it, and I can really feel the bicep insertion twisting. So
You know,
I did
Lenny,
that.
I have a theory about your biceps. I was studying them for a while online before we interviewed, and I think you have an extra muscle in there. And I know it sounds funny. I really do. I think you have an extra head of like the coracobrachialis or something like that, because it doesn't look like anyone else's bicep. It's like there's another muscle under the bicep that's pushing up the bicep muscle. That's my theory on your arm.
Yeah, some sort of a freak then. Am I some sort of a freak?
You're a freak. No, because there's a lot of people have different anomalies. Some people have actually 3 gastrocnemius heads of their calves. You know, the small percentage of people, but some people have that too. So if people could have it in their calves, why not in their biceps? You know.
Of course. As a matter of fact, my leg bicep, my hamstring is phenomenal as well. So that's good. But
Is it really?
I would. But would I swap it for some triceps? I don't think so. Those are the weak areas for me. But that's just genetics. I like to hit the triceps as hard as I can, but you know that's the way it is. That's another reason why perhaps I won't compete again, because I don't think my body looks as how can I put it? The symmetry is gone just a little bit, and I want to be on stage to win. I don't care what category it is, but I want to win. Whether it's over 55s, which I wouldn't do anyway. I would always want to do an open at least an over 50.
Right.
But he doesn't look too bad. He's a young guy there. I think I was about 47, so it's good.
Unbelievable. Now, you know, did you have? I know. Look, we know in bodybuilding, there's a bunch of. I don't even know how to. I don't want to insult anyone, but weird people that like to follow bodybuilders around, and they have arm fetishes and they want to measure your arms. Did you have guys chasing you around trying to measure your arms and asking how big they are, asking can I feel your bicep? Because these arm guys must have gone crazy for you back in the day.
I do get messages on social media about biceps, yes. not literally around them. But you know what? To be honest, Dave, when I see a picture if I flex and I do a double bicep, right?
Yeah.
And if I get the angle right, it just looks kind of weird. It does look weird. But, you know, on social media, you get people, oh, he's got no triceps, he's got no forearms, he's got granddad forearms, he's got no... I don't care. I'm 55.
Well, you're 55. Leave you alone, for God's sake.
I've got a good physique, probably better than the guy who's criticizing me.
Of course you do. Of course
that's what we're here for. We're here to be taken down, but I'm not taken down. I'm too old to be taken down.
You should tell them this is what happens.
I'm 50. I'm an old man. I've got my walking stick.
Tell them your triceps have reversed. They're going in the other direction, and that's why your biceps are so big. They grow towards your biceps rather than they grow out, and that's why your biceps are so big. There you go.
Yeah, my physique now is okay. I can compete. You're right, and you know what? I might even change my mind and step on stage again.
You will.
Yeah, I might do.
Look, if Lee Priest does it, you should do it. Why not? Right? I'm trying to get Lee to compete. He's going to be 51, or he turned 51. Next week I think he turns 51. But
wow, that would be awesome. That would be absolutely.
But you know, look, there's some guys that their bodies age very well and they look good into their 50s and 60s, physique wise. Some people just get beat up more and have joint issues, and I think unfortunately most of it's genetic. I think my physique. I have joint problems, but I'm still ripped, and you know, and I have a decent amount of muscle on my body. It's just not looking. It doesn't look that good as it did when I was in my younger years. But you know, you still have symmetry. You still have some pretty body parts. Arms are always something that everyone wants to see on stage. So I think you probably would do very well if you competed.
You never know; it might just happen. But you know, when I used to judge international shows, and then I used to see the over 50s come on. Yeah. Oh my God! But it just whatever. But it's different. It's the way it is, isn't it?
Look, a good pair of arms really takes people's eyes away from everything else. So
yeah, it's how you look after yourself, Dave. And I've looked after myself pretty well, considering I still have that drive. I'll never stop having that drive to train, to work out, because I actually love what I do. I love helping people achieve goals, and I'll never stop doing that ever. No.
When you see guys in our sport, and look, I'm in this category too, but when you see guys in our sport who are passing away at our age, in the 40s, 50s. Does that scare you ever?
Yeah, well, yeah, it would do. What it does is it scares me. But I don't know what these guys are doing, what their protocol is or was. You've just got to look after yourself. I don't know what to say about that, to be honest. It's something which happens, and it's happening too often. I mean, back in the day, I don't remember it happening. When I was at my prime in the 90s, I didn't hear fellow bodybuilders passing away as much as they're passing away now. I mean, do you understand that? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It's just something. I mean,
I don't know if it's COVID or the vaccine or just bad luck, or it just seems like we've lost a lot of people in our industry over the last 2-3 years.
Yeah, and it's sad. Very, very sad.
Yeah.
But bodybuilding is something which I love. I love to train.
Right.
We love to train. We love the sport. We love the social aspect of it. It's like it's a camaraderie. It's
absolutely.
It's fantastic. I'm so glad I got into sport, and I'm so glad I got into training because I love it.
Yeah, and it's something I don't know if you've noticed this. I'm at an age now where I can go into any gym anywhere, and even if the people don't know who I am, it's like we can relate, because you can tell that I work out. You can tell you work out, and if you start working in, invariably you start talking about training, you start talking about eating and supplements, and it's like we all have something in common, even though we don't even know each other. You can walk into a strange place and still have a camaraderie with the people in the gym. And to me, that's what I really love about the sport.
Yeah, it is that feeling of you feeling, if it makes you feel like you're in a community, no matter where you are in the world. You can walk into a gym and people look at you, they know you train, they probably know who you are anyway. I go to a gym and I'm starting, if I do something, they're looking, have you taught your bicep? I said, no, that's just the way it is. And the conversation started with me having a torn bicep or whatever. And it's a conversation, isn't it? It creates interest. That's why I'm here. It creates a conversation.
Yeah,
but
100%.
It's the longevity which I love, because I love to eat healthy. I love to work out. I love a good lifestyle, and I'm happy. So that's the most important thing. If you're happy doing what you do, Dave, life is easier. It's not easy, but it becomes less tolerable, I guess.
100%. I always say, if you enjoy what you do and you could actually make a living from what you love, what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, and that's been my mantra my whole life. So I try to spread that word to people. Do what you love, and do it well.
You live longer. Do what you love, and you definitely live longer.
Yeah, absolutely. Lenny, thank you for joining us today, and for sharing your history and everything you've gone through, and what a powerful story, in the sense that you've overcome a mini stroke and you're still training and looking this amazing at 55 years old.
Thank you for having me, Dave. And anybody wants to contact me on my Instagram page, is at PTLennyIFBB, and my our online plan is called Sincere Physiques. Just send me a message and I can make you look as good as you want to look. Doesn't matter how old you are. Nothing is impossible. That's it.
There it is. There's his Instagram. Check him out. Lenny St. That's a great name for a very sincere man. And Lenny, that's going to take us to the end of another episode of RxMuscle Spotlight. I'm Dave Palumbo with Big Lenny. See you next time.
Thank you, Dave.